Are you rich though? I mean, are you making the bread?
Yep. Sure are.
acdc is pure rock and roll. They are one of the most important bands in rock history, influencing hard rock in massive ways and even heavy metal. Everyone knows them. It's impossible to find a person that has never listened to an acdc song, and the Highway to Hell album cover is easily one of the most iconic and legendary covers ever made. They changed rock and roll history and gave it electric powers that helped dominate the mainstream for decades. But acdc's live shows, that's where this power can be seen the most. I mean, just watch their performance in Rock Goes to College 1978 and then tell me that that's not pure heavy metal energy. That entire concert is metal as fuck, with Angus shredding his SG like an absolute madman possessed by demons, everyone banging their heads as violently as they can, and Bon singing lyrics that sound raw, heavy, and like he just drank 20 bottles of whiskey. It's an insane performance. I mean, honestly, it might be the most metal and rock and roll performance I have ever seen in my life. The energy that was present there must have been unbelievable. I'm not someone who believes that modern music is bad. I actually think it's a really ignorant opinion to have, especially when there's plenty of good music to be found and it's not even a hard thing to do. But man, this is one of those cases where I wish I had Doc Brown's DeLorean and could travel back in time, because I'd 100% travel to 1978 just to see this performance and experience the energy myself. The music here might not be metal, but the power on stage was probably one of the most heavy metal things to ever exist.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet. But your kids are gonna love it.
That's why, to me, even though Bon Scott sang hard rock and blues rock, he will always be the one singer I point towards the most when someone asks me what heavy metal energy is. Because he was one of a kind. He lived what he preached. 70s era acdc is when they were at their creative peak, in my opinion, and that's when they made most of their best albums. It's also when they were still experimenting with different sounds and actually trying to innovate or make each album sound different, which is something they stopped doing after Back in Black, in my opinion. I mean, I love Brian as their singer too, and with him they made some absolutely amazing music.
The boys are on their way. Gary Van Egmond presents acdc in the greatest rock and roll show on earth. acdc World Tour 88 Rocks Globe Derby, February 17. This will be your only chance to witness acdc live. Tickets on sale now.
but it feels like once he joined them, their sound pretty much stopped evolving or changing and they decided to just keep sounding like Back in Black forever, which isn't his fault at all. I suppose it was either a band decision or they're just happy with how they sound and they see no reason to change anything. And to be fair, I can totally understand that, plus I'm assuming this helped them through the 90s as acdc didn't really suffer that much there compared to a lot of other 70s and 80s bands. It's honestly impossible to listen to acdc and not feel the extreme urge to headbang or steal your grandma's apple pie and eat it like a rebel, get your ass grounded, and then try to secretly get out of the house and run away to do some lines of coke and overdose on rock and roll.
Said I ain't spending my life here. Gonna make a
Being someone who plays guitar since I was a child, and I'm only 24 now, I have to say that learning acdc songs is one of the coolest things ever. Their songs are both very easy to play, but at the same time also a huge pain in the ass depending on what part you're learning. It's also where I have to praise Malcolm Young because the rhythmic parts that he played were simple, but at the same time highly original. When you hear them, you instantly know what band is currently on because of how he did it, and I really want to praise him because I feel like he isn't mentioned often enough, just like a lot of rhythm players in general are often overlooked because people deem their parts as too easy, preferring to look at stuff like solos instead. But rhythm players contribute to a lot of the way songs sound, often more than anyone else.
I'm gonna make a
However, that's absolutely not to take anything away from Angus, who was a beast in his prime. I mean seriously, have you ever seen anyone go as wild and crazy as he did back in the day? He shredded the guitar like an absolute god, and to me he will forever be a rock and roll god.
Coming this Tuesday, September 10th to the Civic Arena, the Caesar Angler presents acdc displaying one of the largest sound and light productions to ever play the arena.
The power and energy that he projected, mixed with the power of Bon Scott and all the other band members, was simply mind-blowing. They are the physical manifestation of rock and roll and heavy metal.
Truth in it?
Yeah, wow. I'll be ready. Oh.
Are the police?
It may be hard to believe from today's perspective when acdc songs and merch can literally be heard and found anywhere, even in shopping malls. But back in the 70s, when they first arrived on the scene, they were considered one of the most dangerous and rebellious bands around, and probably the wildest in Australia.
Ain't got no gun, got no knife. Don't you start no fight. Tell you why, 'cause I'm dynamite. Well, I'm dirty, mate, mighty unclean. I'm a wanted man.
The satanic panic was all over the mainstream news at that point, and Christians were clutching their pearls, coming at the band with all sorts of accusations, such as the claim that acdc stands for anti-Christian devil's children rather than what it actually stands for, which is alternating current direct current.
It's believed the Night Stalker may have been influenced by a song by the Australian band acdc.
Investigators found a baseball cap at a victim's home with the logo for the rock band acdc, which some say stands for Antichrist, Devil's Child.
A rat runs down the alley, and a chill runs down your spine. I'm your man, I sleep in the day.
acdc, are they mere musicians or accomplices as well? Some media reports have suggested that Richard Ramirez, the so-called Night Stalker, accused of murdering 15 people in California, was influenced by the acdc song Night Prowler.
I mean, you get your inspiration from something. In the case of that song, it's been completely taken out of context. The story come from, mainly there was a guy that used to steal underwear off people's laundry lines. And that inspired, well, it wasn't Brian that wrote the lyrics, it was a guy, Bon Scott, since dead. That inspired him to go out and write a song about that.
That's what Night Prowler's about.
That's what Night Prowler is about.
Congress has been holding hearings recently on the subject of whether there should be warning labels on records whose lyrics are judged objectionable. A prime target for those who favor the labels? acdc. acdc. Some people say that stands for Antichrist, Devil's Child. Does it?
It came from the back of my sister's sewing machine.
Sewing machine?
Yeah. You know, it's on any electrical appliance.
And someone walks across your grave, and you wish the sun would shine.
Worst of all, people claiming that acdc are satanic still exist, and it will forever blow my mind how anybody can be this brainless and easily offended that they can't handle some pure badass rock and roll songs.
Diamonds and dust.
Which is exactly what acdc is, especially back when Bon Scott was still alive, which I personally consider their golden age and best years. No disrespect to Brian, I think he's amazing too, and I'd even call him one of the greatest rock vocalists of all time. He contributed to some of the band's best albums. But man, listening to acdc back when Bon Scott was their singer just hits different. I mean, it's a completely different experience because Bon made this band wild, rebellious, and raw, because that's how he himself was in real life. He was a rebel without a cause, drinking more than anyone could handle and chasing women. He embodies everything rock and roll stands for.
I was losing my mind, there was nothing that she wouldn't do. 16 years, I want to tell a story about old unknown.
acdc has always been a hard rock band, and they themselves also call their music hard rock. Despite that, I still see them pop up in heavy metal playlists all the time, or be called a heavy metal band, which they never really were, aside from maybe a few songs that could be seen as metal. However, listening to the Bon Scott era, and especially watching their live performances at the time, it's easy to see why someone would call them heavy metal, especially when they had their most iconic time with Bon in the late 70s, a time when the new wave of British heavy metal was getting very popular, and a lot of those bands and songs did sound similar to acdc in that period. Not necessarily the same, but if you listen to some classic new wave of British heavy metal songs, you'll definitely have no trouble hearing similarities.
I think it's a bit unusual for a heavy metal band that they love tea.
Oh, we love tea. We thrive on tea.
You do?
But it's got something in it. Sugar.
Hello, this is Bon from ACDC, reminding you that you're on countdown throughout Australia.